Councilmember Cook. Councilmember Fairley.
Here.
Councilmember Osborne.
Here.
And Councilmember Thomas.
Here. I make a motion, go ahead.
Go ahead, no, you go.
I make a motion to excuse Councilmember Cook.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have 0 presentations. Item 5, discussions. Item A, e-bikes.
E-bikes, okay.
E-bikes.
So in your council packet, you should have received a copy of a ordinance and a new chapter in Algona Municipal Code. So it will also be coming in front of you tonight in the council meeting. This is part of as requested by this body, but the new ordinance encompasses what we had asked for, or what we had discussed and what I asked for from the city attorney. And it also adds an accountability piece for the parents. Did you guys not get that in the council packet?
Oh, we got it. Yeah.
You got a copy of it? And you got a copy of the new chapter?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any questions about that? You want to see any changes?
I thought it was very well written. I could even follow it.
Zach and I were definitely trying to follow the direction and make sure it was clear what the rules of the road are as far as e-bikes.
When I read it, I didn't find that there was anything skipped, that it was pretty thorough.
So Zach's going to give his credit to his law partner. Apparently in his law firm, they have an expert on e-bikes. And they work collaboratively, and then we all got on a phone call. And so I feel very confident this is an enforceable ordinance, and moving forward, this is something that we could adhere to and be able to keep people safe.
So is this closely follow the one that is already in effect? And I forget where you said it.
Bremerton. So it's a little bit different in Bremerton. We actually adopted state law references. So that way, if the law or definition of e-bikes change in the future, we're not going to have to re-adopt our code. After talking to Zach and I, we went back and forth about the Bremerton ordinance. You will see some aspects like the parent accountability, for sure. The definitions. We wanted to go with state law because that's a uniform across the board. No matter where you're from, if you buy an e-bike in the state, you know what those 3 classifications are. So yes and no. We took a little bit, but we had a little bit of, we put Algona in it. So.
Perfect. Anybody have any questions for the team?
And yes, sir.
If children don't operate on the sidewalk, then they should be in the street, is what we're saying?
No, they shouldn't be on the street either. They should not be operating those on sidewalks or the streets if they're under the age of 16. I think the point is we want to restrict, and again, the enforcement mechanism there is the accountability piece for the parent. I think what it does is it gives us as the police the opportunity to engage and have that conversation. Is this the safest place to be riding the scooter, or and making the parent education will be making the parents aware that, hey, if this ordinance passes, you're going to be accountable for what your children do on city streets and sidewalks and those kind of things. Especially the interurban trail. I know there's a few of you up there on the dais that walk the interurban trail, and there's a couple of little youngsters that like to ride their e-bike up in the interurban trail, cause a little bit of havoc. So I've run into them myself, so I've had a conversation.
We have quite a few of those on Main Street.
Yeah.
One more thing, Chief. What about those, I think they're the levered things that they stand on and they move?
Scooters,
Well,
or the
not really.
segways.
Nah,
They got
kinda
one wheel in this.
Oh,
like-
that,
and
road,
they lean
yeah,
Kind of like a Segway, but doesn't have.
right. Well, if you read the definitions in there, right, and we can add a section just for those if you want, a definition. But I think it encompasses it as it's written, but I'd be glad, I'm all about clarity,
And
so I'd be glad just to make sure that's well defined.
Okay, yeah. Chris?
What's the helmet law for those?
I'm sorry, what?
Helmet law?
Helmet law?
Yeah.
Just like a bicycle.
So anybody 18 and under has to wear a helmet?
16, but yeah.
16 and under?
Yep.
So adults don't have to wear a helmet on e-bikes? Just,
I mean,
I
they
mean,
can pass an ordinance if they want.
well, I was just wondering because, you know, that's, you see it all the time. People are getting hurt and the first thing is a head injury. So, especially with electric bikes, now it's a little more faster than a bike.
The big thing about the interurban trail, you'll notice there's now a speed limit, 15 miles an hour, if you notice the ordinance. So that's one addition that Zach and I agree wholeheartedly. And I ride an e-bike on the interurban trail. And there are some guys that ride to and fro work. They're clearly going faster than 15 miles an hour. And I think 15 miles an hour is the right speed for the interurban trail, given its current condition. And even if it was in better condition, I just think keeping it at 15. And as far as the helmet goes, those kind of things, at our city limits, I fully intend on posting the rules of the road for e-bikes on the interurban trail. So, you know, there's going to be an education time if the council chooses to pass this, where we're not going to write tickets. We're going to do a bunch of education. So everybody has plenty of notice.
You know, I think we might need to put that in the definition, the single wheel unit.
Elliptical or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. what
Can
they're
do.
called. Because those things are fast. I mean, they're,
Right. So tonight it's going to come in front of you. We will make that addition for the second touch.
okay,
Okay.
perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, then let's move on to item B. Item B, reducing speed limits.
All right. So this is going to be discussed today here, but it is not going to come in front of you, in front of council. We decided to wait before it comes in front of council. Zach and I want to err on the side of caution, and we consulted our engineer, but our engineer sent us an email back late in the game that said, hey, I'm your engineer, but we have this some contractor that's actually our traffic person. You guys may remember him when we were talking about roundabouts, that guy. So I'm going to reach out to him before it comes in front of you next council meeting. But I wanted to talk about all that here. I wanted to be transparent. I want to talk about all that here at the workshop. The ordinance, the copy that you got, unless you gave me the one I fixed, it says 30 miles an hour on Algona Boulevard. It's actually 25 was what we put in the ordinance. So if you look on the second page of the ordinance, you'll see Algona Boulevard 25 from 35, but on the front page of it, it's got it going from 35 to 30.
Yeah.
I thought one of the really well-written things in here is the definition of a 20-mile-per-hour street. If you read it, it talks about no sidewalks, it encompasses what we wanted it to encompass. Zach, he did a great job of defining that. We couldn't find an example of it, so he did it. So I
So
thought it was
First
good.
Avenue will stay 25.
Say again?
So First Avenue will stay
Correct. If it's not on this list, we're not trying to amend it. And First Avenue has sidewalks, so it would stay 25 miles an hour.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. So,
Do you know how many signs you're gonna have to replace?
So, 4 on each street. Because I went and counted the ones here. Some of them only have 2,
Right.
right? But I think we should, unless, and I'll defer to you on this as well, but I think we should err on the side of caution, and I'm thinking 4 each street.
Okay. Basically, all you'd have to do is change the plates that are out there now on Algona Boulevard.
Correct. So,
And then just change the ones that, you know,
right.
all roads are 20 miles an hour.
At the
Less
entrances,
long.
right. I also thought about putting it on the roadway.
Now, would that be paint? Would that be something more durable?
Well, since we have this real nice paint machine we paid $25,000 for, my answer would be paint. Because I don't want to spend the money on one that heat seal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that'll take stencils as well.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
So Main Street's gonna stay 25 miles an hour?
At this time, yes.
Are we gonna put a stop sign in somewhere?
If the council wants to explore that, then yes. I'm all for it. So, the other thing about the speed ordinance, it eliminates our current speed that gives the police chief the authority. Zach had a real problem with the police chief being able, with the stroke of a pen, change the speed limit. He said obviously that predates the model traffic ordinance. And so we're going to take that out of the code and we're going to update it to modern language. So this also incorporates that. And I'm okay with that. So, but yeah, item J there, just for clarity, all east-west residential streets without an abutting sidewalk on or at least one side 20 miles per hour. For the purpose of this subsection, resident street shall mean a non-arterial street within or abutting a residential zoning district under the city's zoning code. So that pretty much encompasses all east and west streets that don't have sidewalks. So,
It's pretty much everyone but First Avenue.
except First Avenue.
Yeah.
Correct. Is there anything that needs to be added to this? Is that what the council was looking at as far as an ordinance?
I think so. I mean, this is what I was looking to see.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose of reducing speed limits is to get vehicles to slow down. How are you gonna enforce the side roads at 20 miles an hour?
We're gonna emphasize them first. And one thing to be clear, because of the wholesale change, to make these legally enforceable in court, we're gonna have to do about a 6-month grace period. Jack and I discussed this morning. I mean, day 2 after this becomes law, so the 5-day period passes, I'm gonna tell my officers to educate. And I'm gonna probably do that for a 6-month period. And maybe even we have that informational 1-pager. Hey, did you know when we stop people, speed limits in Algona, here's what they are. And we just hand that out and we educate them. Zach's really concerned is, hey, if we lower all these speed limits,
Start taking
you know,
everybody.
correct. And so we don't want to be getting in the bad graces of the court.
So what happens if you're getting the same guy 4 or 5 times?
He's getting a ticket. That's a little bit different circumstance. But I think for the general public, I want to educate. Right, but there's always going to be those guys that are people that are going to test it, and those people will receive an enforcement action.
That's a PSA announcement, speeding is against the law, so don't do it.
Correct, absolutely. So,
Does anybody have any more questions?
I would like to know though, what the cost is.
okay, I will have that for you for the next workshop for sure. I'm figuring 4 signs per street, whatever the signs, and I too agree that we could probably put them And then I will get the cost of putting it on some roads, like Algona Boulevard, I see it when you're coming into town, 25 miles an hour on the road. Right, so it's a big letters, no doubt where you're at and what you're doing. So, and I will get that cost as well. Yes, ma'am.
We, across the street from, there's a family that lives there that have some very small children, and I see them out riding their little two-wheelers on the sidewalk over there, and it kind of scares me that one of those, they've got two little boys, and it just looks to me like there's a good chance they're gonna step off into that traffic and not even think about it. But it does concern me, because I don't wanna see any child hurt. So I don't know.
We can definitely look into it. I'll make sure. Is that on the east side of Main?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll let the guys know.
Yeah, that it's, I don't know, King used to live there.
Okay, audience participation. The city council encourages public participation during meetings of the city council and welcomes your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to city council on any issue. The council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each when addressing city council. When addressing the council, please speak clearly, audibly, and state your name and address for the record. Anybody online? Got anything, Chris?
Christopher Gomez, 527 Main Street. Just the constant speeders up and down Main Street. If it isn't going south, it's going north, and they seem to be constant all the time. I don't know, it's a certain hour of the day between, say, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning. You can hear them. I mean, it's not, you know, most of them don't have quiet mufflers. And then we have a semi truck that likes leaving his house every morning between 4:30 and 5:30, rattles the streets as we go going northbound. But other than that, I just see an issue there on Main Street, and I see where you have to go with the ordinance. So
Thank you for your comment. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay. Meeting adjourned at 6:24. Thank you.